What's up, Gatekeepers? Welcome back to Weekly Soap Chronicles. Today's recap is from episodes December 15th and 16th. Let's get into it. So we open up in Bill's office where his new client Lynette is there. Hayley introduces herself and says, "My name is Hayley Hamilton," as if to say, you know me as somebody else, but right now my name is Hayley Hamilton. Okay, so Hayley calls Randy and she tells him her old partner in crime has shown up in Fairmont Crest. And Randy is like, what? Okay. He don't believe in coincidences and he wants to know, why is this woman appearing now of all times? He wants details. Now Hayley pulls Lynette's number from Bill's file and arranges a meetup at Uptown. The energy when they see each other, suspicious girl math. They're sizing each other up like, how much do you know and how much can you ruin me? And then Lynette drops the bomb. She calls her Val. Okay, so we don't really know what Hayley's real name is, but for right now, we gonna go with Val. Now, Gatekeepers, do you think Hayley is her only fake name? Or is Val just one in a long list? Now, over at Dani's place, Vernon shows up on a mission. He's looking for help with Anita's Christmas present. But surprise, it's not Dani he needs, it's Andre. So he wants to take an old photo from his and Anita's past and turn it into a perfect gift. Andre says no problem. He's got the equipment back at his old apartment. And Vernon is like, wait a minute, why does Andre still have his old condo? Dani reassures him everything's fine and that she is never falling for Bill's charms again. Meanwhile, Anita is at a breakfast meeting with Nicole, trying to just have a normal day. Then her phone rings. It's her doctor. They want an immediate scan on a lesion they found on her breast. Dr. An tries to calm her nerves, saying that 80% of biopsies are benign, so statistically odds are in her favor. But Anita is crystal clear about one thing. She does not want her family to know what's going on. She chooses to carry this alone. Later, we see Anita talking more with the doctor, then putting on a brave face and undergoing the biopsy procedure. Now, these scenes can easily tip into medical PSA, but the writers gave us real practical information, showed the emotional side and the medical reality, and honestly probably nudged some viewers to schedule their own checkups. And between you and me, Gatekeepers, I just had mine. Anita's keeping this from her family. So do you agree with Anita keeping it quiet for now? Or should she have told Vernon or Dani immediately? Y'all let me know. This is a serious thing. So... people don't want to say anything until they know something definite a lot of the times. So, ladies, make those appointments. If you haven't done so already, keep those appointments because this is a serious thing and you need to, take care of yourself. Always, if anything is noticed early on, is always a good chance that it can be rectified or cleared up or taken care of right away. Now, over in the political / crime corner of the show, we have Martin and Smitty discussing a new gambling bill that Martin is being asked to support. Martin later talks to Nicole about it. She's worried. Specifically, she's afraid that crossing Joey could be dangerous. Meanwhile, Joey is looking at the same bill from a different angle. Now, he thinks it could mess with his money laundering business. So yeah, he's not exactly neutral. So wanting more power and more legitimacy, Joey hatches a plan. He meets with Bill and he suggests, wait for it, that Bill should run for office. Okay? With Bill in office and Joey pulling strings, they can target Martin and reshape the playing field. Now, Bill is hesitant. He's not totally sold on being a public figure, but he's intrigued enough to say he'll think about it. And they shake on it, which in soap language is basically step one of a future RICO indictment. Later, Bill shares Joey's proposal with Hayley. He said, yeah, he came over here and asked me to run for Congress. And Hayley was like, no, okay. She's worried that Bill running for office would totally derail her real agenda, getting him alone and finishing him off. So while Joey is planning political domination, Hayley is planning, I'll say, permanent retirement. Now, gatekeepers, do you want to see candidate Bill, or should he stay in the shadows where the secrets live? So we pick up on Tuesday with Hayley, aka Val, and Lynette still at Uptown. At the same time, back at the office, Bill has Tomas doing a deep dive into Lynette's past because he's no fool. She's a walking red flag. So he tells Tomas to do a deep dive, find out where she used to work, who her friends are, who she been hanging out with, the whole nine. Now, Hayley tries to sell Lynette on the idea that her marriage to Bill is legit. She's basically, look, whatever we did back then, I've moved on. And Lynette reassures her all those old secrets they shared, safe and locked up. Lynette also clarifies something big. She turned to Bill after being charged with embezzlement at the bank. And the twist? The embezzlement charge is ironically the crime she didn't commit. So in other words, I'm guilty of stuff, just not that one. When Hayley gets back to the office, Bill asks what she thinks of Lynette. And Hayley plays it cool and says, well, I don't really know her enough to judge. And then Bill hits her with the twist. He wants Hayley to work on Lynette's case, side by side with Tomas. So Bill is basically turning his wife into his spy without realizing she's also the thing that needs spying on. Now back at the family front, Vernon is trying to inject some romance into the holidays. He suggests that he and Anita take a romantic holiday trip. Anita, waiting on her biopsy results, turns him down. She doesn't explain why, but she just can't go play festive getaway while she's silently terrified. Later, Dani and Andre come by for a visit. Now, while they're there, we get one of those most quietly heartbreaking moments of the week. Alone with Dani, Anita says if anything happens to her, she wants Dani to take care of Vernon. And of course, Dani instantly freaks out by saying, why are you saying this to me? You know, and not Nicole. But at the end of the conversation, Dani is concerned. Later, Dani and Andre are trying to pick an image for their Christmas card. Dani jokes that one year she didn't send them out until July. Andre adds that whatever they choose needs to be not safe for Christmas cards free. Cute, light banter layered over Dani's growing worry about her mom. Now, over at the casino, Vanessa shows up like a woman on a mission. She tells Joey she'll do whatever it takes to win him back. The man looks like he's got emotional whiplash. He doesn't know which way is up. Vanessa lays it all out. Even if Doug hadn't passed away, she was going to leave him for Joey. For years, she put everyone else first. Doug, the kids, the family image. Real estate gave her a sense of meaning again. But she was still in an empty marriage, having meaningless affairs. Then she met Joey, and that changed everything. And Joey, surprisingly, is the voice of caution. He tells her she doesn't have to burn down her entire life just to be with him. He worries about her kids and whether they're ready for their mom to move on. And Vanessa's response is, you know what? I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. But there's no one else I'd rather be with. Joey eventually tells her he's not going anywhere. So whatever this is, it's not over. So gatekeepers, y'all let me know what y'all think. Do you think Vanessa's kids will ever accept Joey? Or is this relationship basically a slow motion car crash? And I think it's a slow motion car crash. Vanessa is definitely pressing the issue for a commitment. It's like, calm down, girl. So at Orphe Jeans, we get a check-in with Chelsea and Kat. They're celebrating their amazing sales and catching up on their personal lives. Now, Kat is very clear she doesn't want to become someone she's not, whether that's in love, business, or around Fairmont Crest power players. She lets Chelsea know that Tomas wants her to move in with him. Chelsea's response is like, well, why not? Y'all in love with each other, okay? And Kat is like, no, because if we move in together, then he gonna find out who I really am, and he might not like me. Later, Tomas joins Kat, and he's got news about his new client, and we can pretty much assume this is all tied back to Bill. But Kat isn't celebrating. She's worried that Tomas will wind up being taken advantage of by Bill. I mean, it's a fair concern, but I don't know why she telling him this, because even though Bill was bad for cheating on Dani and marrying Hayley, but he's not a bad influence on anybody. And how would he influence Tomas to be like him? You know, I don't understand why they going there with that conversation. Tomas doesn't understand why she's so negative all the time, especially about him trying to level up in his career. And he's telling her that he grew up poor, he had to pay for law school through the military, and this is just a great opportunity for him. And she goes on to say how he can put out his own shingle and be his own lawyer. And he was like, okay, I need to get more experience, and the best way for me to do that is to stay with this law firm. Okay? So I don't know how that's gonna go between the two of them. I just think that Tomas and Kat just don't need to be together anyway. Because it's just never right between the two of them. So, Gatekeepers, that's a wrap on episodes December 15th and December 16th. How long can Hayley keep Val buried before Tomas and Bill figure it out? Do you think Anita should tell her family now or wait for actual results? Are you team Bill for office or team stay in your shady lane, Bill? And finally, Vanessa and Joey, end game or disaster? If you loved unpacking all this drama with me, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next trip beyond the gates. Until next time, Gatekeepers, keep your secrets close, your receipts closer, and I'll see you in the next recap.